There is a 3-step process to get everything you'd like in life, yet today we're going to strictly discuss how to get your dream body and have your dream physical abilities and your dream confidence. To be exceedingly confident about how your body feels, looks, and responds, as in you're able to do amazing things like run for miles, get up from the ground pain-free, do push-ups and squats and pull-ups, and just feel absolutely amazing and love to do it. So many people hate exercise or just tolerate it at a higher level, just tolerate it. And this is about using fitness and getting to the point where you utilize fitness as medicine, movement as medicine, and meditation, and feeling absolutely amazing doing it. So if you're ready to understand this simple 3-step process, get in a comfortable place, get your pen and pad out, because this is going to be worth taking some notes for. You will benefit from writing down a lot of this information to get to the next level. Get ready, get excited. I've been doing this for 27 plus years, and I've focused on the tactics and strategies before and the techniques of what to do and how to do it. Yet the essence of fitness and nutrition and well-being is far beyond techniques and strategies and tactics. They are important, and we'll go over some of them today. Yet what is really vital is the principles and the essence to really be able to love being fit and change your body in a sustainable way, so that when you look in the mirror, you absolutely love the image that's staring back at you. When you are playing with children, you are able to run and keep up with them and even outdo the energy of a child. And you have your dream body and your dream physical abilities, loving life to its fullest. Because physical expression is expression, and not being able to move, like most Americans being sedentary, is literally torture and bondage, yet we willingly put ourselves into that situation. So let's get started with the 3-step process. The first step to becoming your dream body is being, right? And so many people skip over this step. They think, oh, let's start by walking, and then you're going to do some weightlifting. And, you know, I love the techniques, right? Racquetball is have an activity of meaning and purpose, I call it. Get amped up. Do you know that racquetball or racket sports like ping pong and tennis and pickleball can actually help you live 10 years longer? It is so funny. We do all of these strange techniques and weightlift and adopt all these new habits, when really love is one of the keys to longevity. Hence the reason why there are so many studies that show that just having a pet like a dog can increase your life by 10 years. Yes, that's right. Having a dog can increase your life by 10 years. Why? Because it's really about loving. And that's why the first step is be. The being is the cause of everything. It's in the word because. The cause of health is in your thoughts. The cause of sickness and disease is in your thoughts. The cause of exercise or being sedentary is in your thoughts. Who do you identify as? What is your subconscious belief that, oh, it's really relaxing to sit down and watch TV, and it's really rewarding to eat junk food? It's a celebration to eat cake, right? Does this sound familiar, right? Every holiday, especially birthdays, we have a birthday cake that is highly refined. And I'm not demonizing any food. Like, you could have your cake and eat it too. Why would you have a cake and not eat it? Yet you can also make a cake or every treat out of the whole food variety. In fact, junk foods are fractionated foods or processed or refined foods, and they only contain just a piece of the wholeness of the whole food. Every food that is refined or junk food or candy or cake is always a replica of what comes out from nature. And we have lost track of so many like edible plants. Like this flower right here is actually edible. We live in a food forest, a jungle that we've created of food. And so many people are amazed by that, yet that is literally how we created community. Before we had supermarkets, we had super pockets, super pockets of food, of abundance of growing of fruit trees and vegetables and nut trees and all of these amazing foods. That is part of the techniques and strategies, right? Or tactics to really get to the highest level of health. And as I said, they are part of it. Yet before we do that, we must change our beliefs, the being, right? When you change your beliefs, you change your behavior. And most people in the United States, we have this belief that it's a reward or a celebration or a rite of passage to eat candy. Even got to the point where we drink alcohol as a rite of passage in college. And when we are growing up, I see it with my child. We're still doing it. Even though diabetes is predicted to happen by the CDC to 1 out of every 3 children for the past 24 years. And we know that ultra processed foods increase our chances of diabetes. As a matter of fact, they increase our chances of dementia and other mental disorders. It is like frightening almost when we look at the stats of what happens when we have ultra processed foods. That is one simple technique or strategy to slowly, progressively remove ultra refined food from our diet. And it could affect our stress levels and our happiness. It is, the science is quite clear. Yet we have become addicted not just to the action, but the behavior, the thought. Remember, the cause of all effect or the cause of all action is always our thought. And we subconsciously, which is 90% of our program, is subconscious, meaning it's subjective, not objective, right? We're not using our 5 senses to really decipher if this is good or bad. We already have this belief system or this operating system inherently programmed in us with the being of the subconscious mind. So when we're kids, as I said, with my son in school, he's still given candy as a treat, as a reward. He's still, we base 2 different holidays or more, or just about everyone, after eating a lot of refined ultra processed foods. Halloween, Easter, we get Easter baskets, we get a big pillowcase satchel full of candy. I remember eating that stuff for like a month, not just a month, but months after Halloween. And the industries, the candy makers, I'm not blaming them. They do a great job of marketing, right? And we even have marketing technique that's been in operation for over 5 decades with potato chips. And just so you know, a potato chip is like my son told me this fact, that it's 200% more expensive to eat a potato chip than a potato. That's really, and that's why there's such a big market around it. And the 5-decade-year-old marketing strategy is, I bet you can't eat just one, right? Lay's. I bet you can't eat just one chip. And that's even I believe it's in 2024, we actually adopted that in the NFL. I bet you can't just do one bet or something like that. It's really interesting that they know this. Like, we have chemically altered food. Some chemists make our food. We process our food. We synthesize our food. We add these refined, fractionated parts of food like oil and salt, and we literally boil potatoes in oil to make a potato chip or a French fry. And it has such an addictive quality because we're literally giving credit, right? We give a credit. What do I mean by a credit? Like, you're paying in advance for a stimulation, and then later on you get stimulated, right? the pendulum swing. You get stimulated and then it goes back down because there's a polarity. You feel that goodness, then you're inherently going to feel that badness, right? Kind of like coffee, right? Again, I'm not demonizing any food. Like coffee, you have it, you get super awake, and then you get this crash. Maybe you don't really realize there's a crash yet. Go a day without coffee if you've been drinking it every day for a decade, especially if you have multiple cups. Most people that are coffee drinkers will say, don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee. Make a shirt about it. And those are accepted realities and encouraged. Alcohol, right? It's still pretty encouraged in our society. Cigarette smoking is not encouraged anymore. And now we're even like, we've switched over to vaping and start to like really promote the unhealthy effects of vaping. So again, I am saying all this not to demonize or put on a pedestal any food or action. I am getting you to understand there is a process, and it's a 3-step process towards wanting or not wanting, or doing and not doing. And the first step before you do something is to become the person that will do the thing. And when you become the person that will do the thing, it becomes natural, right? So I identify as an athlete. I identify as having body mastery. So every day, I love to perform activity. I love to be active. I love to run. I love to jump, right? I love to do push-ups and squats, even weight lift, and different sports, different activities. When I was with my child at Aquatica, a amusement center, a water park, running up the stairs, loving it, smiling, running around the park, enjoying the activity, and it pays off because that is part of my belief that I love to be active, and it serves so many people in my life, especially my son. Because if I'm sedentary and unable to walk around and run around like that, as I remember with my father, bless his soul, that for a while he did do those activities. Yeah, I don't ever remember him running upstairs and really enjoying the activity. He really looked at activity, had this belief that activity wasn't something that was prized, that was awesome. Matter of fact, disliked it, even started like kind of hated exercise because I've never really seen him do structured activity, which is exercise. Never seen him go to the gym, never seen him like do push-ups or squats. And again, God bless his soul, had many other qualities. That was not one of his beliefs, his beings, right? So you are who you be, meaning you do based on your belief system, based on your identity. If you have an identity that changes and shifts, because you could always change your identity. Identity is mainly created by not our situations, right? Many of us think it's the situations shaped our life, or the sounds we hear, like social media, or our social life, our social life, right? Or the sounds we hear, meaning media, movies, music. Those 3 things are definitely part of what shapes our identity, right? Especially our subconscious mind I just spoke about, right? Yet what really creates the meaning in life or our identity is the stories we tell ourselves about the situations, the sounds in our social life that we've experienced so far. Because conditions don't create or circumstances don't create really everything in our life. Conditions and circumstances and situations don't really create our emotions and our feelings and thoughts. Our emotions, our feelings, and thoughts are more creating our conditions, our circumstances, and our situations in life, much more than the inverse. Because it's the stories we tell ourselves about those situations and circumstances that we've experienced, about our social life, about the media, the movies, the music that we have heard. And then we make these decisions that create our conditions. We make the decision to exercise daily, or to eat healthy foods, or to smoke and drink and do drugs. Those are decisions that we make based upon the stories we tell ourselves, because people have gone through the same situations and circumstances and heard the same sounds, watched the same movies and music, and had the same social crew, and they turn out totally different because they tell themselves a different story and attach a different meaning to all of these situations. And then their self-talk, which is the number one aspect of what's happening in our life, of creating our identity, our self-talk, how we're talking to ourselves on a regular basis. Because we have over 70,000 thoughts every day. So a lot of those thoughts are about our identity and talking to ourselves and being angry with ourselves, or shameful or disappointed or prideful, thinking that we're right and others are wrong. And then we could step into a different, in the map of consciousness, it breaks down all of these levels of consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. We could go at the level of 200, which is courage, where we start to have these life-giving properties. Underneath that is pride, is anger, is desire, is shame at the lowest level of consciousness, where we're so close to death at level 20 at shame. Level 0 is death. Then we go to level 200, which is courage. And then we could go to level 500, which is love, or intellect, which is, or reasoning, which is 400. And at 500, we have love. And then at 540, unconditional love. And then we get to enlightenment at 700 to 1,000. And 1,000 is where Christ sits at that avatar level. And when we get to these higher levels of consciousness, the being is so much more important. When we're at these lower levels of consciousness, or in terms of fitness and nutrition, when we are lacking so much fitness and nutrition and we are discouraged and disappointed, we are just focusing more on the having. I want to have this dream body. I want to have a body I could love and look at myself in the mirror, and this ability to be able to run and jump and be pain-free, just be out of pain. We're focused on that having. And then we think, oh, maybe we get to the point where we're angry and we're focused on the doing, to take action. And, oh, I just got to work out. Let me work out for hours a day. And then you might just lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight, and focus on all these tactics and strategies of diets and even fasting and intense workouts, and really, again, focus on these techniques and strategies. Yet we're losing out on the principles and changing the essence of everything, of our identity, to, because once you change your identity, you don't need to focus on the being, or the doing, excuse me, and the having. You're more focused on becoming better, because everything we do and everything we have is to be better. We don't have goals to get, we have goals to grow. We don't have goals to get things or a dream body. We have goals to become better. And most of us forget this in the process, because we're at this lower level of not having, of being sedentary, being in pain. And it's okay. This is not a negative judgment. It's just a map to guide you to the higher levels. And when you change your being, who you are, your identity, who you, like the beliefs that you have, you change again your behaviors. So once you change the person you are, you will inevitably change what you're doing. When you change your thought process and identify, instead of as sedentary, someone who hates exercise and love junk food and your joy is to eat, you start to identify with not using external coping mechanisms like food and drugs and alcohol and smoking and being sedentary or watching screens. You use internal coping mechanisms like exercise and meditation, and changing the polar contrast of thoughts of lack to abundance. And then you experience this exceedingly high levels of joy and love for life, and activity is just part of your life. When you think of it like that, you identify as an athlete, then you're going to never miss a workout and use your movement as a medicine, as a meditation, to get in a higher level, as an internal coping mechanism to feel better and cope with negative emotions, because negative emotions certainly come through, right? We're human. We all feel and experience those negative emotions. Yet we can and are designed to feel and experience joy at every moment of our life. Euphoria, U stands for normal. Euphoria is a natural way of being. If we're dysphoric, we can't even see properly. And most of us are experiencing high levels of pain and are not in a normal level. So when we get to this point in life where we behave in a different way because we have different belief patterns, then we are consistently doing what it takes. And then we find the right tactics and strategies which change over time. The principles do not change. They work for everyone, everywhere, every time. Tactics and strategies work sometimes for some people in some situations, and then we have to evolve and change them like a prescription. We have exercise prescriptions. That's why I gave you some tactics and strategies with nutrition and fitness, like be active daily, right? I could say that, yet most of us know to be active for an hour, but why are you not doing it? Because you're not being the person that would do the thing that will have the dream body. And to have it consistently and have it and continue this, then we start to add in this aspect of, what lifestyle do you love so much you would leave as a legacy? A legacy to everyone on earth, not just your children, because some of us don't have children, right? To leave to the children, to all the people around you, to even your predecessors, to your ancestors, to your parents, right? To your aunts and uncles, to everyone in your community, in your state, in your country, in your county, to leave this legacy of being a role model that people are like, wow, that guy really loved to be active, to eat great food, and he really enjoyed his life a lot. He started doing all these amazing things and helping all these people, or that girl. And there are so many other aspects to this be, do, and have 3-step process to get everything in your life, especially having your dream body, having your dream abilities, your physical abilities in life and capabilities, and having your dream confidence to love the life you live and love the mirror that you look at. And when you're around people, love to speak publicly, love to speak privately, and be looked at like a superhero by your children, by your friends, by your family, and kind of most importantly, right, by yourself. Look at yourself as heroic, not just the shape of your body, but what's on the inside. Because we could be clean on the outside and dirty on the inside. And that's where nutrition comes into play a lot. And one of the ultimate nutrients, right? The ultimate nutrient, the cause of all effects is what you think. And when you're doing this, not having attachment to all of these thoughts and processes and these behaviors and beliefs, like that attachment is creating actually distance, because you're still trying to hold on. It's kind of like the neediness of being in high school and trying to get a girl and be like, oh, please date me, please date me. We have to let go of that attachment and be great with it or without it, and then we will manifest it into our lives. When we lack that attachment, that want, that desire, that insatiable desire, and instead we decree it and demonstrate that we are already accepting and behaving in a way and believing that we already have created this wonderful life, this dream. We expect it. We fructify the earth by making this holy decree and demonstrating that we are that. So if you'd like more information about this, please sign up for a free event I have. It's at ogfit.com. It's not always in there. If you need to contact me, my information, I believe is, most likely will be up at ogfit.com. And you could find out how to come to one of our classes that we hold on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you could get more of an interactive experience with this and be able to ask questions and be able to get answers and have a conversation about where you feel stuck in this 3-step process, or some specific techniques and strategies that could get you to the next level, some exercise and nutrition prescriptions to get you to the next level, to become that person that you always thought of being, that highest version of yourself, to be loving movement and exercise and having your dream body and physical ability and confidence. You are capable of anything great. Thank you so much for being here and your presence. May you have the best day of your life. Remember, check out ogfit.com. And if you'd like to make an appointment with me, if you'd like some help personally, you could actually go to drkeithjlopez.com, and then you will be able to jump into my schedule and we could have a one-on-one conversation. While times last, right? The life is very much temporary, right? Those websites may be up or down. So if you're ready, take advantage of it while I'm offering these services. Thank you so much, and may you be blessed by the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude.